All right, welcome back into the Ryan Ripken Show. We're back. We're back again. It's Sunday. The Orioles are not swept for the 96th consecutive series. We're going to talk about a lot right now because, look, for those that don't know what the Ryan Ripken Show, I don't know what episode this is. It might be 72.
We're not counting anymore.
Yeah, I think it's over with the counting.
Yeah.
It's over with the counting. But what we are counting on doing is having more shows or streams like this on Sunday when there are games on Monday to break down the next series upcoming. We're going to recap the electrifying, exciting game from today from the Orioles, finding another way to come back. Jackson Holliday's first hit. Finally, people can all relax. But the biggest one, Jackson Holliday, he gets a huge accomplishment in his young career. Then we're going to just talk about kind of in general what's been going on. We'll look ahead to the Twins and the Orioles next. And then, guys, it might be a good time to reevaluate what we talked about in spring with Colton Cowser on the breakdown, and might as well bring that back up. So before we do that, let me tell you who is in studio. And you have a guest. If you saw already, Kevin is not in studio. There's Kevin Onomatopoeias behind the stage right now, but we got Zach always in here.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, you know what? Just show up. That's what I do. I try.
Just show up, and you guys saw Brad a moment ago as well.
What up? What up? No friends between the lines. First of all, I know that this is going to be Jackson Holliday heavy and Colton Cowser heavy, but Steady had a day.
Yeah,
and this is a quote from Steady on the show. Just an incredible line from that guy.
Yeah, and actually it was because with the Twins coming in town, this was Cedric actually talking about robbing Byron Buxton's home run specifically.
That's right. That's
so
right.
You guys can actually go back and watch that clip if you want. It's on Instagram, it's on X, or we'll just throw it back up there for your amusement. And let's get Kevin in here for a second to say hello before we talk about what is on the screen there in a second, Brad. But Kevin.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. But I am, yes, and also Corbin Burns battling, had a couple of moments, but battled throughout, kept the Orioles in it. And that's a quote-unquote Corbin Burns bad game. And still the line, I think you take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, and we'll actually dive more into that, Kevin. Exactly, you're right. But, hey, the Orioles found a way. Here they are. Everyone's blood pressure is starting to rise, or not rise, I guess, calm down a little bit.
Yes,
I felt like people were on high alert, guys.
Yeah.
High alert. The season might be ending on April 14th. It felt like we're getting close.
It was a good season.
But hey, look, we live to tell the tale. But let's talk about this. Tom, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
That was incredible.
You're the man.
I've never seen that ever. I've been on YouTube for 8 years, never seen anybody gift 5 memberships. That's awesome.
You know, now it's a great time to talk about them now. It's a way to support the channel, support our work. You get the little badge, and we're working on some face emotes for all of us that you can spam in the chat. So you want to spam Rocco's face, we're working on that.
Yep.
And a bunch of other perks that we have. So there is the Ryan Ripken Superfans tier, and then the Holy Shirts and Pants tier, which of course we know is Ryan's favorite.
I mean, why wouldn't it be my favorite? It's a great saying. And also with those perks, we want to try to allow then our members to have some more live streams with us specifically.
That's
right.
What? Yes, that's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I would like to point out too that we're going to have a very special interview this week.
Oh,
and
right.
I'm taking ownership of this one, Ryan. But we're going to put that out for our channel members, our Holy Shirts and Pants members, before it goes out to the public. So you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be a huge interview. Just think about the interviews that we've had before. Huge interview. Our members are going to get that hours before it goes out to the public. So if you guys want to get in on that, make sure that you're becoming a part of the membership group and support the channel really more than anything else.
Yeah, it's honestly, we're just talking about it. My laptop is running on fumes. I've had that thing since 2014, I believe, is when I purchased it. So it is 10 years old, still going strong. So when it breaks down, when I do a breakdown later, that is the reason why we were trying to replace the laptop.
And a camera.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully this HDMI cord or whatever it is, the extender, Brad, holds up for us. But guys, why don't we talk about this? Orioles, they survive. They win the final game of the series. Don't get swept. And you guys know my motto: win series or avoid getting swept. If you do that enough, you're going to win a lot of baseball games. But we'll start with the obvious of it. Not a great series overall. The Brewers, I'll give the Brewers a round of applause because they are scrappy as hell.
Listen, 91 team. They were like a sneaky good team last year that nobody was really talking about.
Mhm.
and they're just picking up where they left off last year.
Best offense in baseball right now.
Yep.
Averaging over 6 runs a game. And you just saw it. That was probably the most annoying series yet this year, not just from the fact of obviously got blown out for 2 games, but every single at bat, the Brewers make you earn every single out.
Yep.
They get infield hits. They're going to hit bloopers. They're going to run the bases well, create runs. We saw Perkins, Rip's guy, stealing home when Adley throws through second. They're just going to find ways to get an advantage when you don't necessarily see it. So you have to hand it to the Brewers. That is a very good team right there. And I would assume they're going to be the favorites once again to probably win it all in the NL Central.
I was shocked a little bit, I didn't know what to expect for them coming out of the Corbin Burnes trade, just meaning when you lose that magnitude of player, right? Because you're losing an ace, you're losing the foundation of your staff. It's not because they didn't have other good pieces in place, but you just look at that. But you're right. Their MO is they're going to battle, they're going to grind, they're going to wreak havoc. And you saw the Orioles speed up and make some defensive mistakes throughout the series. And then also the Brewers are going to run. The Brewers are not afraid about running, stealing bases. And you saw the jumps that they got on Corbin Burnes. And Burnes, if he gets guys out, people aren't going to worry as much about how well he holds runners on. But the Brewers know him better than anyone, and they were trying to take advantage of it. And Blake Perkins, for those that don't know, had a great series for the Brewers because Christian Yelich is having some injury issues. I believe it is his back.
Yeah.
So Perkins enters into the lineup. He was actually a roommate of mine and a teammate when we started with the Nationals in the minor leagues. And so I love seeing Perk doing his thing. And by the way, guys, he's never been a left-handed hitter until he got the Pro Bowl. They made him be a switch hitter. And then he's just a left-handed hitter. Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah.
But Perk, as you can see, is very aggressive on the base pass. He has great anticipation. And on that throw down from Adley, I think there was some miscommunication there a little bit because I don't know if that was specifically supposed to happen. But nonetheless, if Adley comes up throwing, you got to be ready to go from third. And Blake made it so Jackson could not. And I love the fact, by the way, Jackson did not try to force the issue on the throw. Get the out, the run scores, you move on. But you know what I did love? This is my favorite part of the day. Corbin Burnes fields a ball. It's a bunt, throws it away. Second and third, no outs. Tie game, right?
Yep.
Could have gone a lot of different ways. And Corbin Burnes retired the next 3 batters consecutively. And they get out of it. And that's something, when you look at this in life, when shit hits the fan, how do you respond and how do you move on to the next pitch and not let your emotions, because if Corbin Burnes lets his emotions get in the way, the game's over right there. The Brewers go ahead. I don't know if the Orioles come back from that. Burnes keeps him in the game. The game keeps flowing.
Yep.
And it was great. And Kevin, that's what you brought up. Like, this is something this was Burnes is by far his worst start in my opinion. Just from the defensive woes, but also he had trouble putting guys away. No 1, 2, 3 innings, but the guy still was able to give you a chance, and that's what you want.
Yeah, and I think also a lot of pitchers, when they have those types of moments, when they face some level of adversity, that can snowball for a lot of guys. But for Burnes, he settled in, he locked in. And again, as I said earlier, he kept the Orioles in this game. And we know the O's are the comeback kids. Once that 6th, 7th inning, 8th rolls around, their bats start to get hot. And obviously late in this game, if the game was out of reach, who knows how it would have gone. So to me, there's so many impressive things about Corbin Burnes, and there's so many reasons why you call him an ace. But those are some of the underrated parts about it, where we've seen Orioles pitchers do it. We've seen other pitchers throughout baseball do it, where one thing goes wrong and then everything else starts to go wrong. And that's why I was so impressed with the way Burnes handled himself today.
Yeah. But again, and that's just when you look around and with a team that's still really young, I mean, they were talking about Gunnar Henderson's 22, Jackson's obviously 20, and some of the other pitchers, Grayson Rodriguez, 24, I believe.
Adley's the old man at 26.
Yeah. I mean, actually the old man of the group is Cedric Mullins.
That's true. Yeah.
And Seti, and how about Cedric Mullins? You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Seti, Ryan O'Hearn, there's reasons why, guys, that they're on this team. And I'm not going to keep speaking to the Cedric Mullins. If you guys think Cedric Mullins does not have a place on any major league team and shouldn't be the Orioles everyday center fielder, I'm not even going to bother wasting the time and energy with it because he's just that special. I understand the Orioles have a lot of talent, but Cedric, when he's hot, a healthy set is a scary set. I put it out there. But guys, why don't we talk about What do you got, Brad?
I just wanted to point this out that Rick Arnold says that Orioles are 9-6. Are you not entertained? And I wanted to put this out too because a lot of people, especially the last 2 games, playing a really good team, getting in their feelings, especially on the socials. And I just wanted to say that every team that the O's have played so far this year are 500 plus teams, and now they have a winning record. So going into this next series, and we're going to be talking about it later in the show. Very easily could end up sweeping the Twins. Don't want to write them off. They're still a professional ball club, but finally the first team that the Orioles are going to play that aren't really that great. But so leading up to this series, it's been a really tough stretch to start the year out. And you talked earlier before we came online, these teams are still trying to figure things out. The MLB in general, just because they're hot right now doesn't mean they're going to be hot in the dog days of summer, where you really kind of find out who you are. And we talked about that last year, and you of course can speak to that more than anybody. But the games that are going on right now, I wouldn't say that they're meaningless, but they mean less than the games that are going to take place later on down the stretch. Those dog days of summer, getting into September.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and Houston. Hey, welcome to
Hey.
the club.
All right.
There he is. There he is. Beautiful Houston. Welcome. We're proud you are a member of the Ryan Ripken Media channel. But to your point, Brad, and you guys heard me talking about this. What's the one day of the year where every team has all the confidence in the world?
Opening day.
It's opening day. So because even if you're not projected to go out there and be successful, you can still be able to, I don't want to say it's fooling yourself, but you can continue to play and try to stay in as long as you can. Look at the last year. The Pirates off to a good start. They started to fade in the second half. You see the Red Sox were kind of hanging around, and then the Red Sox kind of fell off. You're looking at the other teams around baseball. There's going to be a lot of those, and there's going to be teams that get off really to slow starts. By the way, Minnesota Twins, Zach, didn't they win the AL Central last year?
Yeah. And the season hasn't necessarily started the way that they've wanted, especially offensively, but Orioles won't see him. But Joe Ryan, if it's not Corbin Burns right now, Joe Ryan is the front runner for AL Cy Young. He's just dominant. Twins have the pieces there to be a very good ball club, especially in a weaker Central division.
Yeah, and that's the Central's wide open, and there's some talented teams, but they haven't put it together. But the Twins are still the team that won it last year. And Joe Ryan, by the way, faced him in AAA. He was with the Durham Bulls. He was with the Tampa Bay Rays. I think he came over in the Nelson Cruz trade for Nelson to Tampa back, whatever it was, in 21, maybe I'd like to say. But Joe Ryan had this thing called, it was just like an Invisa fastball for a while. He'd throw it like 93. I don't know what he's throwing now. But we would know he was throwing a fastball 90% of the time, and guys still wouldn't hit it. And you're sitting there going, what the hell is happening? Now, obviously, in the big leagues, he has to change it, and people are obviously the best of the best in the world. But Joe Ryan's a guy that has the ability to go out there and be dominant. He's off to a good start for this ball club for Minnesota. Now let's actually get to what was the game-changing inning on Sunday. Jackson Holliday gets his first hit. First off, Jordan Westburg again.
To go say, got to give the man love. Jordan Westburg, there's a reason. We've said it since before spring training. There is a reason Jordan Westburg needs to be in the lineup every single day, because it doesn't matter when it is, when his number is called, he is going to produce. Starts off the rally today, and then as you're getting into, Ryan, rest goes from there. Yeah,
and you know what? When things go wrong for players, it just gets magnified. Jackson Holliday had some really rough calls. The strike zone was a little bit wide today, but when you're a rookie and you're struggling, they're not going to give you that call either. But you just take a deep breath, you keep grinding, And his third at bat today, finally, base hit through the hole. Camden Yards erupts. But the bigger thing in the game, first to third, puts the tying run on third. Gunnar Henderson then gets a hit the next time. And Brad, actually, do you have the clip that you wanted to pull up, or what do you think?
Yeah, here you.
Okay, let's pull up the clip real quickly.
And Holliday through the right side. There it is. The first of many. Jackson Holliday with his first major league hit. And it comes in a major moment.
There's the smiles.
Great
it was
form
just
high
a
five
matter
there.
of time, folks. And the kid can breathe a little bit now.
Yeah, so obviously you could see Matt Holliday was able to stick around for another day with your pops over there. That was actually a cool moment. I was glad when we last talked to Matt, it was the plan was for him to
Come back on
come
Saturday.
back home. And so it was cool that he was able to stick around for an extra day, and kudos to giving up those seats, my man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, in general, it's a special moment. I think that's the biggest thing here. This is a guy that, with all the expectations, some people have had mixed feelings about his start. Some people were like, "Hey, I'm behind you." Other people were like, "What the hell is this? You're striking out a ton." And meanwhile, when you see it, and those guys, Matt knows, my dad knows, and me being around it, it's so damn hard. And when people are just waiting for you to do more, and people were giving him standing O's, like, it's great that people were giving him all the attention, right? Like the support, but also you're like, damn, if I get out here again, it's just the buildup, and the buildup's finally over with. And the Orioles, more importantly, win the game, because then Gunnar Henderson, and Brad's a good point. Pete Rose went 0 for 12 in his major league debut. That was perspective thanks to Jeff Arnold.
Yeah, Jeff Arnold actually ended up said something about this in the radio broadcast today. Jeff ended up responding to that. He said he actually ended up pulling up those notes yesterday. So, look, he had to adjust just like all the other rookies that have come up. Gunnar kind of had a slow start last year. Adley, wasn't just lighting the world on fire either. And that's just part of it. There were some other crazy stats as well that I saw from other great baseball players that had a slow start that went over for a while before things started to click. So even if Jackson Holiday doesn't go bananas after this first hit, I don't think anybody should be, there's no alarm bells that need to go off. He's going to be great. He's going to be fine. He's going to be an integral part of the team. It just takes some time to make those adjustments because it is a way different ball game, should I say, in the bigs than it is from AAA.
Yeah, well, and here, the other context too, it's, Kyle, newsflash, baseball's hard.
Yeah.
It's the hardest sport in the sense of, and again, I'm going to be biased, I think hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do because the pitcher always controls what happens. But secondly, it's the only sport where you consistently have to fail so much and then you can still be really good at it. That's something that really messes with you. Now, combining with the fact that you're on the biggest stage. We're in a day and age now where everything is documented. When Zach forgets his credit card at the bar, it's documented.
And then we found it in the back pants pocket hours later. It was the biggest comeback story of the weekend. I know.
Kevin, see what happens. See, this is what we deal with.
I would say, speaking of, I don't know what's the leaderboard on the Masters. Do you know yet?
So I think Scotty Scheffler just took the lead again. I
was going to say that golf is probably the hardest, but I think maybe baseball and golf is like 1 and 1A.
Well, this is the thing with golf. That's the thing because the elements you can't control sometimes, but also it's your own mind.
So much of a head game, right?
Yeah, but the head game part of it, at least.
Baseball though too.
Yeah, it's a head game, but also if a pitcher is doing everything possible, I don't care how good I am, I'm out. Yeah. Like that's the reality. That's the part I'm trying to say with golf is if you're on and you're on it and you're on, nothing can stop you. Hitters can get hot, but they don't stay hot for an entire year. Yeah. Like that's my point. Like the best hitters in the world hit what? Acuna hit like 330 last year. What was it? Yeah. So when Ryan leaves the studio key card at home, it's documented. Yeah. It is very documented, Sean. Yeah. It's a great point. Kevin, don't you laugh.
Well, everybody else can laugh, but I can't laugh.
Nope.
No, it's okay, Kevin. You're a good kid.
I mean, like you said, if Jackson Holiday has a long career and he gets out 7 out of every 10 times he goes up to the plate, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So that just is a testament to how much of a mental game, like you said, and how hard it is to play baseball. You literally, if you are a good player, you are failing 7 out of 10 times that you go to the plate to do what you are considered to be one of the best in the world at doing. And that's why it's such a game where you have to be humble. I think it said, baseball has 2 people, humble people and people who are about to be humbled. So
yeah, and then it's a true thing. Once you think you have it figured out in baseball, guess what, whammy? You're getting hit right in the face with reality that you are not as good as you think. And that's why, well, Spirit Bomb, you are right, that baseball seems pretty easy for Cowser. But again, when you're hot and you have these streaks, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Like what Cowser's doing is unbelievable, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But to give context for Cowser last year, and he wasn't playing every day, right? He had 31 at-bats last year, he had 61 at-bats last year and had 7 hits. Mm-hmm. He hit 115 in those. And again, I told you guys about it. I thought that it was hard for him to come off the bench. It's a hard role to be in. but the context, there's a lot of things that go into it. And when you're hot, you got to stay hot. I love that he's in the lineup. But back to that one inning, I really want to emphasize the other part of Jackson's game, and this was his base running. When Gunnar gets the base hit and ties the game, he wasn't going base to base. Jackson immediately tried to take third base, barely makes it in safe, but this is why it's so important. What happens next? Adley Rutschman hits a ball up the middle. Yes, it's a double play, but the run scores. If that's first and second, runners on third, the Orioles might not get any run there, and that doesn't give them the lead. Like, it's the little things in the game that matter, and this is something that Jackson can bring to the team besides the ability he has with the bat.
Something I want to bring this up. Wild Like Bill says, kudos to Hyde for not pinch hitting Hayes for Cowser when it was lefty-lefty in the bottom of the 8th inning. And I really like that because, over the past few years, Brandon Hyde has been very matchup oriented, and he's, he loves the, get the advantage, get the righty lefty matchup when he can. But I think what people don't understand is that was because, as the team has come more together and you have a guy who is scorching hot like Colton Cowser, they want to see what he can do. And they know that at the moment he's the hottest player on the team. So I agree. I just really appreciate, like you said, that he allowed Cowser to get that lefty-lefty matchup, continue to grow his game in that aspect. And then what happens? Puts it over the fence, gives a little insurance so Mr. Craig Kimbrell can come in and 3 more strikeouts? Just it's what he does.
And I can't believe the Orioles picked him up either, but that's for another note, right? But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday, Thursday, occasionally on Sundays when everything goes on. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and follow us. We're on X if you're not watching on YouTube. And we have the audio component. So the Sunday, Monday, Thursday episodes will go out on the audio stream. The breaking news ones where things just completely out of control and goes off the rails, we can't put those up on the airwaves, mainly just because the quality is a little bit less, but also maybe just for everyone's overall listening-ship or viewership, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
We've had good viewership, but we've had very questionable
comments.
Yes.
Content.
Yes.
Questionable content.
And people love that. Rip After Dark coming soon to a place near you. Jim Mason, thank you again. We're all big Jason Benowitz fans. We know probably none as big as you, but when you tune in, I'm sorry, and Jason's not on the show, I do apologize.
It is what it is.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
He'll be back on.
He hasn't earned a permanent spot yet. We don't just give him out to everybody.
So it's like with Rocco. That's why he's still a recurring guest.
Yeah,
as you
that's right.
say.
He's still working his way up the ranks.
Yeah, I mean, even Kevin's with the fish right now, but guess what? He's still right here.
I have to be on call. I would have been there. I would have.
I know.
But I do have something special planned for today if we do go on a ride. So just
we go on a ride. Oh,
so
that's
just be prepared if we do that. I'm gonna have something special cooked up.
Okay.
I am terrified of that. To say the least. But let's overall look at as we kind of wrap up this series now. The Orioles now, we are through 2.5 weeks of baseball.
Yep.
Baltimore's getting ready for another series. Now you're starting to kind of sink in, but also we also understand a little bit that guys aren't going to get off to the hottest starts, that things are going to take a little bit of time. But the biggest things, if you're seeing from both the Red Sox and Brewers series, do you think you guys have an idea of what I'm going to say? You have an idea, anybody? Kevin? Big difference that we saw the Red Sox struggle with and the Orioles struggled with?
No.
Okay. You guys. This is why I'm here. The Red Sox defense was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say runners in scoring position, but I was looking up the numbers.
I had no hints. I did not know where you were going with it.
Right.
Yeah,
But I do
threw me on
agree.
the spot with no hints. I'm like, what?
Yeah. But anyways, the defense on the Red Sox defense is atrocious.
So the Red Sox didn't play good defense. The Orioles did not help themselves out this series in a lot of different ways. And then your pitchers have to make more pitches. And then, yes, I know that the pitchers themselves did not go out there and throw as well as they wanted to.
Dean had a tough day.
And also too, I would rival with Dean's outing when it starts off where the defense isn't making plays.
Yeah.
He should have gotten out of it.
Yeah.
And then he had the chance with that ball that should have been a strike 3. And then it's another hit. But the point being is the umpires are going to be inconsistent. And for anyone says that I love this umpire, No one ever says that phrase. That's why there are a lot of great umpires people, but you're never going to say, yep, I love that guy as an ump. He's great. That's just the business that they're in. And you see, they're going to miss calls. They miss calls this series. But for Dean, you have errors, and then you give up some weird hits, and then the other damage gets done, right? But when that happens early, you can say, well, you can pitch by it. When you have to throw more, and then it just uses up arms, that's a really tough place to be in. And then Milwaukee just got hot. So that combination, but defense matters. And if you can't play defense, it's going to show. Pitching will sort itself out. I think the Orioles have done a great job of that.
Well, and then to go back on Friday's game too, Tyler Wells didn't have his best stuff. He's missing outside a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I saw a lot of people just like ready to throw him in a bullpen. And it's just like, we're still very early. How many times we saw Dean turn it on last half of the season last year? Tyler, was the first half guy last year. So like, it just depends. It's way too early to make assumptions that any of these guys are going to be moved from their starting positions right now.
No, well, and also too,
just not enough sample size.
But and it's baseball,
right?
It's baseball, and you're gonna have to figure it out. And what I mean by it is some of these guys have had the track record to prove. Dean's record last year, by the way, in the month of April, not good.
No
ERA, no bueno. It was brutal, but he figured it out. He got going. You get consistent. Cedric Mullins, weren't a lot of people saying earlier on in this season that Cedric Mullins, that, you know what? Why are we giving the at-bats to Cedric Mullins? Right? We talked about that.
Yeah.
He's gotten going. I know Austin Hayes. I feel for Hayes. Hayes isn't seeing the ball well right now, and his confidence is down. It's around there. It's hopefully going to be close, but it does help when you have a deep team. They're going to keep giving Hayes opportunities because they should, but you also should not bench Colton Cowser as long as he is breathing. He's got to be in the lineup because of what he's doing.
Interesting that you bring that up. So like, and we've talked about this, all the depth that's down on the farm, particularly with the Tides, like how much longer would you give a guy like Hayes? I mean, obviously he was an all-star last year. So, Brandon Hyde might give him as much time as he needs, but is there a certain point in time where you're like, some of these guys are hot down on the farm. Maybe it's time to make a switch.
Well, and that's okay. Here, this is
the only reason I ask is because
I know
a lot of people are asking these questions.
I know,
right?
and this is going to get me riled up here. Austin Hayes has proven he's a big league player.
Yeah,
he's proven it. Mm-hmm. Right, he's not off to the greatest start, and I know the minor league guys, they're ready to prove that they're big league players. That's the kind of the issue here, right?
They probably would be big league players had they not, if they weren't in the Orioles organization.
Yep. Correct, and they should, but. Why do we all of a sudden are going, and I believe in all these guys. Like I love Jackson Holiday, but the thing for me, the pressure that people put on these prospects coming up to be better than bona fide big leaguers from the start is outrageous. And that's where I sit at it. And you go, we know what we have when Austin Hayes gets going. It went, and if he's not getting going, then you're going to have to live with that. But Austin Hayes, under no circumstances, is going to end up down in AAA, in my opinion. Zero. I don't see that happening at all. Santander has been your guy the last 2 years. He's going to have struggles. Who cares? You're going to leave him out there. Cedric Mullins, he's going to have his struggles. Who cares? And I feel for the guys in AAA. I really do. But you see when you have young players that have to go through an adjustment period. And for the fans that want a winning product, it's hard to have it both ways. Imagine you brought up Heston, Jackson, Kobe, and all of them are just absolutely balling out down there. What if they get off to the slow starts that Gunnar, Adley, Cedric, Jackson got off to their careers, and the Orioles start losing games at that moment? Yes, you could say, oh, well, it's going to look good for the future. The team can win right now, and then they can win because they have a really good team. But that's the hard part of it. This isn't 2021 where vibes were not high in Birdland. You were trying to figure out who's going to be a part of the equation. You can't say, hey, Kobe, Heston, all of our young guys, Norby, go. If we suck, we suck. Those days are gone in Baltimore. And so that's another part that you got to keep in mind is that these guys that have been through the tough stretches in the big leagues, that does count. Now, to finish the point, though, Brad, if Hayes and things is struggling, in May or June, the Orioles are probably going to continue to play the guys that they need to play. And that's just the reality of it. And Colton Cowser right now, he plays like this. Colton Cowser is going to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and then you got to play him too. So it's a really, really tough problem to have, but I hope people can understand that. You can see with the examples of it. These players are talented. But just because they're extremely talented doesn't mean you got to try to adjust to something else. I mean, my dad, good Lord, that dude struggled his rookie year. Turned out good for him, right? But
I think it was he batted at or less than 100 going into in his first month, and then still ended up winning Rookie of the Year. So, things can change. People get hot. I mean, we talk about Anthony Santander. Anthony Santander is, it's like the old phrase, he is exactly who we thought he is. He's going to go on these streaks of 2 weeks where you're like, he's struggling. He can't buy a hit. Nothing's working. And then he goes 3 weeks and you're like, this is the best player on planet Earth at the game of baseball. So, it's tough to give up on these veterans because, like you said, even with Hayes, he started last year off and he really struggled to begin. He had that 5-for-5 game 2 of the year last year. But besides that, first month was not that good for him. And he still came out and went to the All-Star game. So it's hard right now to see who he plays over. I think they probably give Tony a rest, tomorrow or something, maybe put him at DH, let Hayes play somewhere else, probably back and left, put Cowser in right. But we've been saying the way they're swinging the bat right now, you can't bench Cedric. You can't bench Colton. So it is hard in this situation where the Orioles have so much talent. You can only bat 9 guys, and that's what sucks is I would love for every single one of them to be able to get consistent playing time, but that's not how it's going to work with how much talent the Orioles have. And like you said, Ryan, in the position that they're like, we can't just say, hey, if you go 0 for 100 right now, that's okay. They need to win games.
Yeah, and that's the expectation, right? And show of hands. Would you rather the Orioles win games to hopefully get to the playoffs and win the division again? Or would you like to say, well, you know what? We have a lot of young talent. Let's just go out there and play and live with the results. And if you want to live with the results, that's fine. I completely get that. But if we're going to be honest, the Orioles just came off of winning with the exact roster that you had in AL East and the number 1 seed in the American League. So that's something that you got to consider.
There hasn't been one Oriole team that's won 100 games or more that won a World Series. That's crazy. Crazy stat.
Yeah. Also, actually, real fast, Don C. Dog.
Kevin
Appreciate
clap.
you, Don.
Kevin clap.
Appreciate you, Don.
Go ahead, Zach.
I actually forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Well, I'll go back then. So Don says, so glad that Mullins and Holiday's got it going today. It's amazing how toxic Twitter is against their own guys. Westy is him. You guys also, we did the breakdown on Jordan Westberg for a while, and that's a big thing. Do you remember what you're going to say?
Yeah, I got it back. Actually, it's because some people are talking about it in the chat. A lot of people, every time he's in the live, I don't know why, because all he does is produce. Ryan O'Hearn is just that guy. We saw it today. First inning, guys on base, single up, down the not down the line, between first and second. Then comes up 2 innings later, 2 outs, no one on. Ray got the first 2 guys pretty easily. You're like, okay, this is a shutdown inning for him. Puts it in the seats. Every time, especially against righties, Ryan O'Hearn is going to have a spot on this roster, and he is going to be used consistently, especially against right-handed pitchers, because all he does is rake.
Yeah. And we'll also, they're not just putting him in like, hey, Ryan O'Hearn, you're facing a righty, hit 9th, hit 8th. No, they're putting him right in smack dab in the middle of the lineup because he has been able to develop his game. That's going to be a fun breakdown is doing Ryan O'Hearn. I should have thought about that, but Cowser is just so caliente right now. It's going to have to be Cowser, Kevin. But Ryan O'Hearn, since he waited for his opportunity, and we've seen it, hey, you do it when you cover Locked On Ravens and doing all that stuff, change the scenery for players. It matters. Ryan O'Hearn's change of scenery, leaving Kansas City, coming to Baltimore. Yep, starting in AAA, then whammy up to the big leagues. Those things, it's true. It happens.
Yeah, it does. And I think, when we were seeing all those trades a couple weeks ago where the Orioles were bringing in a guy like every day for cash considerations and an optioning and bringing another guy in, that's how the Orioles got Ryan O'Hearn. It's pretty much like sometimes a guy comes in, of course, you talk about like name value. He comes in, everyone's like, all right, well, who is this guy? Why is he playing? But then the production starts. And for O'Hearn, the production has been pretty consistent. And especially to start the season, it's a luxury to have all this talent. And this is the delicate dance that Brandon Hyde has to go along with, that Mike Elias has to go along with. Because when we have the conversation about, well, you know what? Yeah, Heston probably deserves a shot in the major league. Kyle Stowers, he deserves a shot. And, all these players. But with veterans, we're at April 14th right now, guys. If we're sitting here talking in a couple months and a Hayes is still struggling or someone then that's a different conversation we can have. But obviously, and this goes with every sport, right? The Ravens, basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever it is, football. It's a what have you done for me now lately league. And what's happening right now? Austin Hayes is struggling. Colton Cowser is on fire. And so everyone says we'll never play Austin Hayes again. Colton Cowser deservedly should be playing all the time. I think that's definitely something that should be happening. But it's a reactionary thing. And I get it because it's in every single sport. But it's good that the Orioles have all of this talent, but they got to where they were with their vets. And again, if we're talking in a month or two and Austin Hayes is still going through this atrocious slump, then sure, different conversations can be had. But we saw this exact story last season, and look how it ended for him.
Well, it's like last year, we talked about this when we first got started, Ryan. George Springer went like 0 for 30 something. It's like, what are you going to do? Not have George Springer in the lineup? Like, get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, again, like these guys, when you've gotten out there, and again, it's where you are at your point of being an organization. Are you a rebuilding team or are you ready to win now? Where's the combination? And what's funny, Kevin, not funny, but ironic with it, Baltimore baseball in the 60s, 70s, 80s, this is what they had, by the way. Their philosophy, so I remember talking to my dad and my grandfather, this was what I kept hearing, from my family. The motto that Cal Sr. used to say was that if you're good enough, you're going to be in the big leagues, but it might not be with us. And right now, the Orioles are in that position where you saw Joey Ortiz. How about Joey Ortiz, by the way?
Well, he had a great series.
And so he had a great series where his time wasn't going to fit in Baltimore, but it was a valuable asset because then Corbin Burns comes to Baltimore. But Joey Ortiz gets a great opportunity because he's a big league player, right? Mm-hmm. And someone was going to have a revenge series. DL Hall, Corbin Burns, Joey Ortiz. Joey Ortiz gets the last laugh. Phenomenal. 3-hit game to start off the series with that triple down the line.
Didn't get to play the next game.
Yeah,
just left matchup.
Yeah, that part I don't always agree with. They let the guy stay hot. I digress. But again, that's the point of it all. But and last thing I want to say, and then we're gonna move to our quick break here for our poll. Dog Training Plus. Yes. And Zach with the good memory. You have a good memory on this? I thought I said this.
No, that was literally me.
Oh, okay.
I said I think we talked about it before the show, but
I wonder where you got that information, you jackass.
I was gonna say I think I know where I knew that from, but yeah, I definitely was not just had that off the top of my head. I wasn't,
Now when it comes to where Zach left his car, the memory's a little bit of a different story. But
yeah, back pants pocket, never saw it coming.
Yeah,
didn't even know it had a back pants pocket.
Well, you're a good kid. And Joe Shipley, am I wearing makeup? No, goodness, no, I'm not. I probably need it though. But
do they toss that on you at the news station?
They do not. It's
a lost cause.
I'm just glowing. Oh, save it from the guy that only wears sweats and a sweatshirt and has that.
Should have had a cow suit.
You might have. You should have.
I should have. Joe called me out on it for Twitter for not having the cow suit. I should have worn it.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show do this Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays. We break shows and go live when something nutty happens. We did it this past week. Kevin will sing some songs while we're doing it as well. Proud of you, Kevin, on singing Unridden. Maybe we'll have more of that coming up. So maybe get your brain ready. But Brad, I think you got a poll up for the show.
I do. Today's poll is brought to you by Hollywood Casino over at Charlestown. Shout out. Thanks for allowing us and supporting us, Charlestown. And I'm looking forward to continuing that relationship. But guys, what is more terrifying? No more internet forever. Losing coffee forever. Beer is sold out everywhere, or sports become illegal.
Wait, what are the options again?
Okay, I'm a little bit confused now. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew this was a good one. And there's a lot of people that are torn on stuff. So what's more terrifying?
Mm-hmm.
Losing internet forever, losing coffee forever, beer is sold out everywhere, or sports become illegal?
Sports become illegal.
Can I ask a clarifying question? How illegal? Like, are we talking like you get a ticket if you're caught playing?
No,
like
for fuck's sake. It's illegal.
To jail?
Yes, you go to yes. It's illegal.
Sports aren't a thing then.
They're
Kevin.
banned.
That's just
they're banned.
So it's like the prohibition.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Prohibition era. Does that make it better for you, Kevin?
And it's actually closer than you think.
Yes, but I mean, either way, I'm out of a job. So like,
That's what I was going to say. I was like, internet and the sports thing kind of put all of us out. So that would be really tough for us.
Yeah, but Ryan's is a big coffee guy.
Oh, I'm a huge coffee guy, but you know what? I might be able to withstand tequila now. That might be tough. That might be tough to get rid of. But
no beer ever again.
Who's what? So up this, who's
all right. So far the people, sports become illegal is in the lead, but not by a lot. 44% say that sports become illegal is the scariest or most terrifying of all of these. No internet forever comes in second, and then losing beer is sold out everywhere is third. Losing coffee forever is fourth, but it's a tough decision all the way around.
Yeah,
I made it hard for everybody today.
I don't drink coffee, so that one for me is like fine, whatever. I mean, the living without beer compared to internet and sports, like I would have to throw. So to me, it's down to internet and sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I could pivot my shows with internet to like
the radio.
Show about flowers, maybe show about animals.
Locked on animals.
Locked on cats.
Yeah.
It's gonna be locked on cats for Kevin.
So I guess I'll have to go internet. I guess internet's the most terrifying because I guess I could still maybe like one or two people like me enough to still watch a show about cats, but
eating dry Cheerios. Oh my God, Kevin!
Yeah,
so many.
That's what I do. I do hot takes. That's what I do. I pivot my show into hot takes and then demonstrate my hot takes on the air.
I can't wait for Locked On Kevin. That's what we really truly need. Locked on ostrich. Locked on ostriches.
Kevin's corner with cats.
Yes.
Oh goodness.
Cats and dogs. We'll make it pet.
Yeah, I don't know. The illegal sports. You're saying what can we not live without? Is that what the thing you're saying?
What's more terrifying?
I think being without sports is more terrifying. Being illegal is more terrifying. Look at all the stuff that happens when you go to these events. Unless you privately, or imagine all the tailgates. You privately have the tailgate.
Yeah.
Privately go to all these events.
Imagine going to sports with no beer.
Oh, I mean, I'll just bring tequila.
Well, that's true.
So, I mean, my problem solved. We're
just
good.
Forget about the loss even quicker.
Yeah, Kevin Meow Striker.
Oh, I have to add that one to the list. I have to add that one to the list.
That's awesome. That's
good.
a really good one.
That is a great one.
That is good. All right, I'm adding it to the list right now.
We got some good kids as always. I don't know what's going to happen here. I sit here talking about, hey now.
Also, by the way, I ended up pinning it in the chat, but if you guys haven't become a part of our Discord group, please go over, check it out. The link is posted in our YouTube channel for those of you watching on Twitter. We'll put that up there sometime as well, but I do have it pinned in the chat here within our YouTube. Come check us out. It's free. Doesn't cost you a damn thing, but we have some pretty good conversations in there. Just have a good time, especially when the games are going. So come check us out over in Discord. It is free. Click the link in the chat.
And talking about tequila, shots at the beach bar in Panama are $4.50.
Damn. Not bad.
But what's the tequila is the question. That is the big question.
Okay,
but
hold on. No, Mitch, no, they did not. Mitchell, they did not, because just for those who don't know, I'm a Nuggets fan, and this addressed me. They had the worst loss I've ever seen in like 3 years to the Spurs a couple of nights ago. I literally was like in a depression over it. And the Nuggets are going to win. It looks like the Timberwolves are going to lose. The Thunder were up by 50 last time I checked over the Mavs. So it's going to be probably OKC 1, Denver 2, Minnesota 3 for those who care about basketball. So
yeah, unless the Mavericks can pull off a 49-point play with 27 seconds left.
Hey,
I'm thinking the Thunder are taking this one.
I am known notoriously for my half court. I can't shoot a basketball from my, but I can make half court shots. So if
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, okay, can we do that? Okay, that's another thing we're gonna add to the list for the show.
Yeah,
we got to see Kevin shoot a regular shot and then go to shoot half court shots and see which he actually hits.
Well, I never was properly taught how to shoot a basketball, so I shoot a basketball with 2 hands. Like, the classic.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Wait,
yeah.
no, whoa.
No, is that like granny shots?
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Which works for half court because you get all your power behind it. but
Sure.
there's no accuracy on regulation.
Oh my God.
What? Kevin,
So
Kevin,
yes,
it makes it so hard not to say something.
Oh my God, Kevin.
Okay.
Anyway,
we'll add it to the list.
I don't think that's even a granny shot. Granny shot's like doing the old underneath. You're pushing the thing.
That's
It's
like
a push shot essentially. Yeah.
You're like, push it. Kevin. God,
push it real good.
Push it real. Yeah, you got the reference. See, Brad would be good with the songs, Kevin. We're working on with
Don't
you.
get me started on songs. I will like Song Pop. Remember Song Pop or Song Quiz?
Well, like
Crush
a
that
version
shit.
of it. Yeah.
Crush that shit.
We need to bring that back. Just like I got to bring these glasses on here. You mentioned, actually, by the way, Brad, thank you for mentioning that. Our second sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show at the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown over in West Virginia. Super excited to be working with them. We got a lot more coming up with them in the future. So we're going to have you guys stay tuned on that. If you guys don't know, they're located about an hour away from Baltimore in the DC Beltways. We're going to end up being over there a little bit. So we'll keep you posted on that. And they have a lot of different events that are upcoming. They're not just there for actually, obviously, being called a casino. There's a lot of actually events that they have going on and comedians and concerts and all sorts of things, which I didn't know about but maybe I'm just more.
Horse race. They got horse racing too.
Yeah, so I mean, they got everything going on over there, but we will post more about that if you're interested, and we'll let you know when we're going over there for some events. So that would be a lot of fun. Let's think. Let's think. Let's think.
Twins.
The Twins.
Cowser.
The Twins, Basil. We're going to see the Twins, Kevin. We're going to see the Twins.
All right. We're going.
Do you even know what that is referencing, Kevin?
No.
Twins, Basil. Twins.
I thought these were questions for Zach. I thought you asked Zach these questions.
No.
You don't know that either?
No.
Basil Expedition. Let me ask you a question and be honest.
Fook me. Fook you.
Fuka you. Fuka me. We're going to see the Twins. Austin Powers, you guys suck.
Oh, well,
I said it.
You're fine, Brad. Brad, you're fine. Kevin and Zach, take a lap. Take a lap. Or actually, go take a ride on Adam's Jeep. Let's get into.
Hey.
Oh, Kevin, this is your.
Let's take a ride on the Adams Jeep here. We're taking a ride.
I'm so scared.
Oh, you
taking
set
a
me
ride.
up. Sorry. All right, ready?
We're taking a ride.
Oh,
my goodness.
All right, I should do it this way.
no! Why would you do it that way?
Kevin,
I don't want to get Nintendo can get a little crazy, so we're just gonna do it this way.
The auto white balance is also flipping out on you right now with you turning
I
the
see
wheel.
that.
Kevin, also, you would swerve into so many lanes and cause so much issues. You would
Now,
be thrown
with this, by the way, I am the greatest Mario Kart player there is known to man.
Oh,
So
it's a bold statement.
we're going to have to put that to the test.
And
that-
driving. Is this better driving form for everybody?
Yeah,
No, not to our audience. Tori says it right. Somehow that's worse.
Oh, well,
that's so true.
Oh, shirts
Just-
and pants.
Just corny all the way around.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But shout out to Adam's Jeep of Maryland.
which is right behind Zach there. Zach.
Oh, my bad. I was.
Goodness gracious. You're trying to get a tweet out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's
You're
exactly what. it
You're a
was.
good kid, but our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland, obviously up in Aberdeen, they're fantastic. Rocco and Chuck actually met for the first time.
Oh,
which is
shit.
Crazy. They're
Oh.
almost close to the
Oh.
same height too. That's even more alarming.
What's with all of our short friends?
I don't know, but we love our short kings though. Even Kevin, but Adams Jeep of Maryland, they're up in Aberdeen. If you buy a pre-owned vehicle of theirs, doesn't have to be a Jeep, and you mention the Ryan Ripken Show, or that you dislike Rocco and maybe like Kevin, you get $500 in gas money, a gas card. So keep that in mind as we move on. So guys, now can we go see the Twins? We're going to see the Twins. Minnesota is coming to Baltimore, and they just coming off a loss against Detroit in the AL Central. They're trying to get on track. If you guys were listening early on the show, Twins not off to the best start this season, right? That's just the way it goes. I will break down a little bit more of some of the players that are off to some slow starts or off to good starts, but where this biggest drastic differences. But explaining it right now, Twins have not been swinging the bat well, guys.
Right.
26th in baseball as we record this in runs. But as far as pitching, they are towards the top of baseball. That's what they did last year. But right now, if we're looking at this, the Orioles are coming off a series where the bats seem to get alive a little bit more at times. in the Red Sox series, especially. But they're going to have to do more of that, especially if Minnesota is struggling. And it might not take as much, guys, but it looks like, Zach, like you talked about, the Orioles are going to avoid Joe Ryan to start the series.
Yeah, and that's going to be massive. You obviously were going to face, I believe, on Tuesday, Pablo Lopez, who it's another guy. The Twins have some great pitching. So, like Ryan said, they are not scoring a lot of runs this year. And honestly, that wasn't even their forte last year. They won by pitching, and they won by winning close games, low-scoring close games. So that it is a situation where you would like for this to be a situation where some guys, Cole Irvin, I'm going to assume is going to pitch tomorrow. And then if they keep what they're kind of doing, Grayson and then Wells, this is a spot for those guys to really get right and get some confidence going. So I look forward to that because, man, even the Twins, like their top guys like Byron Buxton is not hitting anywhere close to what he's used to hitting. And they're starting off slow, especially offensively. So I think if there was a series for the Orioles pitching staff to get its confidence back after a few rough games to start the series against the Brewers, this is the series to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Ryan has 24 strikeouts. Thank God we're not facing that guy.
Yeah. Like so Joe Ryan, I wasn't kidding about when he has his Invisa fastball. Now he's able to throw his off speed. I mean, the Twins staff is really good.
Yeah.
Don't let the numbers fool you so far. The Twins have always been able to pitch well, and specifically, as I'm looking up actually how they're doing right now in their bullpen, they're the top bullpen in all of baseball with a 1.53 ERA.
Which isn't great considering the Orioles get fired up after like the 7th inning.
Well, so that's the thing right now. The Orioles have done a tremendous job of getting to the team's bullpens and having success. The Twins have done a tremendous job as once they have a lead or they're in the game in a good spot.
Yeah.
They have one of the best ERAs, the best ERA. They have a 1.53 ERA. But here's one thing, guys. They have allowed 5 home runs so far out of the pen. So take that for what it's worth, but they do have 70 strikeouts to 21 walks. So
that's ridiculous.
The Twins can pitch the baseball. I think the biggest thing when you're seeing this situation, right, is how are we going to, if you're an Orioles fan, how are you going to, sorry, not an Orioles fan, reset it, TV timeout, 30 seconds, Kevin. For the Orioles, how are you able to then try to get going early, right? This has been something for the Orioles. They did get going in the Sunday game where Ryan O'Hearn opens it up. But overall this season, guys, it's been hard for the Orioles to get ahead. And I think especially when you're looking at the strength of this Minnesota team, if you get ahead, it looks like you can stay ahead and have a good chance of winning. And that's the ultimate goal here, obviously, go try to win another series.
That's right, because according to StatMuse, if I'm reading this right, this is kind of crazy. They are ranked 30th in batting average right now at 185 as a team. That's rough. I mean, especially in a division where you got the Chicago White Sox that are actually doing worse. Yeah, so the thing of it is while they've had some pretty incredible pitching, their offense is god awful. So this could either be 1-0, 2-0 games, or it could be absolute blowouts. But either way, I don't see the Twins really going on an offensive, spree with the pitching that the O's have. I would be surprised if that ended up happening. So for those of you guys who are worried about or kind of disappointed in the way that the season has started so far, which I mean, O's are 9-6. I don't know what there is to be disappointed about. This could be a series, and I don't want to jinx it, but it could be a series where you really kind of see what the O's are made of when they can take it to a team that on paper is inferior to them.
Yeah, but what you got, Zach?
I'm looking through the Twins stats right now, and especially their individual player stats. Willie Castro has struck out 21 times in 41 at bats.
That's what I'm saying. Like the batting on the Twins is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. Edward Julian has struck out 19 times in 46 at bats. Yeah. Byron Buxton struck out 18 times in 46 at bats. So yeah, they need to get it together offensively. But I even saw it up here. These are the teams that scare me.
Yeah.
It is.
On base percentage is 28. It's not good.
But here's the thing too is, and it's early on, anything can happen. The Twins actually, when they played in Baltimore last year, if I remember correctly, they played pretty well against the Orioles.
And in Minnesota.
And the thing that we have to keep in mind is that pitching and defense, if you can do both, you can stay in games. That's why, despite all this, the Twins have 6 wins on the season.
This is a crazy stat. I don't know why this even exists, but they are second in hit by pitches.
Hey, get on base.
14.
Where are the Orioles in that?
I don't know, but second. They've been hit by a pitch 14 times in 14 games.
Oh, it hasn't been that much for the Orioles.
No, that's one. That's good for a game.
I feel like the Orioles have been hit. Jordan Westbrook's been hit like 3 times, I swear, already.
Well, yeah, you know what? So, there's one guy, there's a couple teammates I had that just took pride in trying to get hit as much as possible.
Hey, wear it.
Hey, that's the phrase, wear it. I don't like wearing it. I'll be honest. It doesn't feel good. I remember actually, quick story time. I got drilled in a pitch. It was like 45 degrees right in the hand. And then I couldn't move my hand. It was like this the entire time. The ump didn't call it. And this is actually terrible by the umpire. I'd be pissed if I was the other team. But I go, like, I forget the ump's name. Let's just call him Joe. Let's call him Joe for our friend Joe in the chat because, you know, why not? And I go, Joe, that hit me. He goes, nah, prove it. Like, prove it. I've never had, like, all right. So I take my glove off, show him my hand, and I can't move it. And it's just the seam is on my hand. And he goes, okay, first base. And then the other manager comes out and goes, whoa. Like, because the hand's a part of the bat. Like, it hit the bat first, yada, yada. If that was me and the other team, I would have been pissed because I probably shouldn't have been awarded the bat, even though I did have the seam on my hand. But I've never heard an umpire ask me, prove it, and then award me the base. So that was special, I guess. And then I proceeded to strike out the next 2 at bats. But, you know, you live and you learn.
But you got on base.
Yeah, I did get on base. OBP. But overall, when you think about this, though, with the Twins, don't underestimate the Twins. Is this team, they pitch well, they play good defense, the bats can come alive at any time. The bigger part here, you mentioned Cole Irvin here, Zach. This is something when you're talking about with Cole, this hopefully could be a place where he could really get the break that he needs. I thought he pitched well in Boston. So right now, Cole's slated to start the first game of the series tomorrow, Monday night. I liked what he did in Boston. I thought that there were some things that went wrong that weren't fair for him, but hopefully this can be a case. And the other side of it, if it doesn't go right, then you're sitting there going, damn, I let the Twins get hot too. Like that's the thing you don't want. And we're going to have to see what kind of happens there. We got a lot more to break down with it as we go on. Yeah, Kevin, we did see that. Houston did end your life in the chat.
I saw it.
Sorry
too.
about that.
Yeah, it's okay. Houston compliments my chin though, so I'll give him a pass for this. Although I will say I was in an antique store for more than 2 hours yesterday without a phone, so I can live without a phone.
You know, good for you know what? It's so funny you say that because I learned something new this past weekend is that you are not allowed to take your phone in if you are at Augusta National watching the Masters the entire weekend. You can't take it. Can't have it. Can't have any electronics. They want you to actually enjoy the moment.
Yeah, because Scotty Scheffler is obviously right now he's in the lead, but he even said last night if his wife, who is due to have their first child within the next few weeks, if she starts having it goes into labor, he's like, I don't care if it is, you know, hole 15 and I have the lead. He's like, I am leaving the Masters and I'm withdrawing. And then he started laughing and goes, we do have a cell phone to make sure. And then he's like, he looked at the guy in charge who was like, but we don't use it unless it's happening for that. So it is they do not want cell phones there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a sacred spot, actually. Sacred spot. My sister actually got a chance to go to the Masters on Saturday, her in Camden.
I meant to ask you about that, if it was like for the whole weekend or if it was just for a day. But I mean, either way, that's cool. I remember her saying they were going.
Yeah, they went. What was really cool is that Rach she put her name in the lottery for it. And actually they got in it for the COVID year, and then obviously couldn't go. And then got selected this year. She went on Saturday. So it was amazing. You know, it's just like that's a bucket list thing, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a bucket list
100%.
thing to do. So yeah, we'll see how the finish goes. And Scotty Scheffler, maybe he wins the Masters and welcomes in a baby as well. Do we have the leaderboard up?
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler now has a 3-stroke lead heading into the last 6 holes. Max Homa was just at -7. Scotty Scheffler's at -8, and Homa was sitting there at -7 for a long time. But I don't know what happened, but he's now at -5. So
that's over. Scotty's got it. Got another green jacket. Good for him. Yeah, I was watching Tiger, and it was tough to watch Tiger.
Yeah,
he just fell off. Yeah, it sucks, but like he just couldn't putt today to save himself.
Yeah, it was really bad. You just hate. I'm one of those people where like I'll always just root for Tiger. It doesn't matter how bad. I just want like that. I'm still holding on to what was that the 2019 Masters when he won it.
Yep.
That was like still chills. Like I just couldn't believe what was happening.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap, Tiger Woods just actually won the Masters again.
Yep.
Yes, he did. I feel like that's just every time now. Every time that Tiger goes out to play now, I think everyone's just like, come on.
Yep.
Still has never missed a cut. What? It's now 26 consecutive Masters.
24.
24.
He's played in 26, made the first one, didn't make the second one, and made every one after that.
Yeah.
Well, Rocco's getting just shots fired at him for not even being here.
Just catching strays.
That shouldn't be that funny, but
yeah.
That's good. That's out.
Joe says my mini golf game is tighter than Rocco's shirt on a Friday night. Yeah, you know what? You can't get on Rocco too much because apparently people say I rock a tight shirt at times. I think this isn't really tight. I think it's more natural. I'm actually going on with Rocco later tonight. So if you're in the region and you want to watch Fox 45 Sports Unlimited at, I don't know, say like 10:41, I think is the time. Tune in. You might.
I'm assuming you're doing a segment beforehand. Or are you going live at 10:41?
I think it's a segment. I'm not sure.
No,
we'll see. We'll see. Rocco and I are going to have some more time together. Is there anything else that we want to touch on before we just kind of dive in? Any thoughts, concerns, questions?
Nah, I mean, we kind of peppered in our Twins coverage, but I don't know what else there is to say. Like, the Twins aren't playing well. I would be very disappointed if the Orioles didn't take 2 out of 3 of this series or better.
Yeah. I agree. I think this is one of those series, especially coming off a tough series that just happened with the Brewers. Obviously, you're not feeling great after the past 2 games. You get this win that helps, but it's just at the point where you want a get me right series, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get me right. Get me right. Get right. Thinking of songs now. Kevin, no way he knows a song. Well, there's a few songs.
We're not at that point of the show yet. We're not signing off.
We're trying to get it right, get it tight, Kevin. You know,
push it real good.
No,
not
the right
that's
one.
not it.
I tried. I went. Right. It was a 50-50 shot, or maybe less.
It was not. It was not a 50-50 shot.
No, you
not even in the same
song,
decade, you dumbass.
You selecting any song is not a 50-50 shot.
No.
I guess, yeah. Considering how many songs in the world, I guess you got to match it up a little bit. Too,
so you said get it, push it real good.
Get it right, get it tight.
Yeah, I know, but Kevin, when do they say that?
And push it.
And push it.
They don't ever.
I guess
get it right, get it tight, push it real good.
Now you saying it, yeah, definitely a swing and a miss for me.
Oh, sugar. Okay. Oh, goodness. Should we have a Kevin's Corner then?
Yeah. Talk a little Colton Cowser.
You talk a little Colton Cowser to get ready to break down.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I should have gotten milk. I should have drank milk on the stream.
Oh my! You can still do that while I get ready.
He definitely doesn't have milk. He doesn't.
Well, I don't have it next to me.
I mean, you could.
I actually don't. And milk has to be.
Okay, you kids have fun. We're gonna get set up.
Yeah, you guys. Kevin.
Well, that's what I was saying. Milk has to be flavored for me. But regardless, Colton Cowser is pretty good at baseball. Zach, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say, especially right now, he is. Actually, because they're gonna get into Colton Cowser, let's do a little Ravens real fast. How about that Brandon Ayuk rumor that was up for about
2 hours long,
and then immediately got disproven? That was do not trust just random sources, people.
No, people in Baltimore, for talking Ravens, they are so, and look, I don't blame them, but they're so hungry for that veteran number 1 wide receiver because it didn't happen in Lamar Jackson rookie contract era. And there's all this stuff now about, T. Higgins, what's going to happen with him? He's staying with the Bengals, probably. Brandon Ayuk, did he request a trade? No. It feels like there could be 1 or 2 more big moves before the draft, but I feel like this is kind of it. Like, we're pretty much 10 days away now, Zach. It feels like rosters are pretty set up until the draft is over.
Yeah, I don't see any. If a move's going to happen, it's going to be on draft night. It's going to be teams repositioning themselves in the draft at that moment. But like you said, especially with it being 10 days away, I think teams are more than likely going to see what they can get in the draft before they want to go out and trade for a big time player.
Right. And that's also the thing where the draft can plug up a lot of your needs. Like if you trade, let's just say you trade for as an Ayuk, whether it's Baltimore, Pittsburgh, whatever team it is. And then there's this stud wide receiver that falls to you at your pick. And you're like, oh, like we'd take this guy 10 out of 10 times, but we just gave up a first round pick for Brandon Ayuk, or we gave up a second round pick for, and then you can't necessarily justify double dipping and investing all that capital. So I'm not saying we're not going to see a couple of other moves, but I think at this point it's pretty much set. Although they did sign Deontay Hardy. I don't think we talked about that at all on this show.
No, we haven't.
They signed Deontay Hardy. Obviously, Zach, more of a special teams move than anything else. 2019 All-Pro. He slots in, but if the Ravens keep 6 wide receivers, right now it's Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Tylan Wallace, Nelson Aguilar, and Deontay Hardy. What's your confidence level in that room, Zach? Obviously before the draft, and I'm sure they're going to add somebody there. But right now, what's your confidence level?
Not great. I mean, it's just I think it's a classic. I love Zay Flowers. I think he has the potential to be that number one guy. Obviously, when you're talking about the Ravens pass catchers, you have to factor in Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. But as the physical wide receiver room, it's hard for me to get more excited than I have been in recent years, because I think as much as it's the hot topic on Twitter, it is still very much a question mark of what you're going to get from Rashad Bateman. Can Rashad Bateman be that number 2? And if you add one more guy in the draft, like we've talked about, maybe even in the second, third round, I think I'm a lot more confident in it. But at the same time, if we're suiting them up today, Sunday Night Football, 2 hours, if it was Sunday Night Football, I would not feel great that we're kind of returning a very similar wide receiver room.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I mean, they're probably going to draft a receiver in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I'd be shocked if they didn't spend a day 2 pick on one. I know there's all the conversation about, they've already invested 2019 first round pick, 2021 first round pick, but Marquise Brown has been on the team for a couple of years. Bateman, you mentioned it, Zach. The jury's kind of still out on him. Flowers looks like a stud, but again, that's your only one. If they were to take a first round wide receiver, it'll be okay, but we all know the offensive line is the biggest need. But back to Orioles, is Colton Cowser ever going to sit again? It feels like to me, like if you're talking about the circle of trust right now in terms of hitters, to me, the 2 firmly in the middle, and this is not me saying like, Adley's not good or Gunner's not good. Of course they are. But the 2 hottest Orioles right now, hitting wise, it's Colton Cowser and it's Jordan Westburg.
So do you think it's this guy? Oh, the camera's out again. Nice.
Well, I don't know who that guy is.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Let's get Kevin off the screen. See you, Kevin. Oh, okay. So this guy's what we're talking about, right? Talking about this guy, Colton Cowser. You can hear me, Zach?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, and it's off again. No. Oh, nice.
Oh, my goodness.
It's always something here with us, right?
Yeah, you were on the screen. It was confusing me at first.
It was. Okay, here we go again.
Now it's tiny.
Now it's tiny. Now it's not. All right, let's talk about this. No one's hotter in baseball right now than Colton Cowser. Let's just be completely honest. Not just for the Baltimore Orioles, in all of Major League Baseball. And Colton Cowser had to wait for his moments starting off this season, but no one is swinging the bat better than him. And it's a big reason why the Orioles got the insurance run later. It's a big reason why they got the sweep up in Boston with his great play all the way around. Let's talk a little bit about what makes him so special so far and why this is something that I don't think is a fluke. I'm not going to expect him to hit, 450 something or whatever he's going to do, but I expect a fantastic year for Colton Cowser moving forward. So why don't we move forward with it as well? I forgot how long I made that. There we go. Here's his first. Here's like the first moment of the season, actually, where I was like, you know what? Things might go right for him. Yes, he got in bad against the Angels and all of that. But this specific situation here, Colton Cowser is going to get a pitch. And sometimes you just need things to go your way to kind of build that confidence up, right? So he had a double against the Angels where it was a blowout game. This situation here, he's going to cue ball it right down the third base line. And you're thinking, well, there it is. There's the moment. Yeah, the ball was hit like 50 miles an hour or something like that, but who cares? It's a double. You start to build confidence. But you know what I loved about that swing, guys? is the fact that he stayed the other way. And actually, where Colton Cowser got super hot was his ability to use the opposite field. And you guys might think that's crazy, but if you can use the opposite field, you know a guy's locked in, because if he can drive a ball the other way, that means it's so hard to beat him. And guess what? It's been extremely hard to beat Colton Cowser over the last 4 or 5 games. So Cowser here, you're going to see 3-2 count here. He's not going to try to do too much, stays on the baseball and plays wall ball over. There it is. Over with the green monster. Okay? So again, inside pitch a little bit, but he's thinking big part of the field. So just so people can understand that again, when you're trying to feel good, you want to try to stay on the baseball as long as you can, because if you start leaking off the baseball, sometimes when you can get too pull heavy, and then sometimes you have to be so perfect with your timing that you're really kind of shortchanging yourself to what you were capable of doing. Cowser's got the ability to drive it the other way, so why not drive it the other way, especially when you're facing talented pitchers. Later in the game, Brian Bayo actually pitched really, really well for the Boston Red Sox, but their defense kind of let him down in those moments. He's going to get a pitch away, Cowser, and Cowser's going to drive it right to left center, short swing, compact, whammy. There it is. And then he's going to swim move it over there to go in for a double. But again, using the big part of the field, using the opposite field leads to success. Here's the other example here when they were playing Milwaukee, 0-2 count. And you understand Peralta was shoving that night. He really was. But that guy that he couldn't stop was Colton Cowser. And this is such a simple swing. It's probably one of my favorite at-bats of his so far. Pitch away, right on the outside corner. And we've seen the umpires be a little bit generous on the outside corner in that series against Milwaukee. He's not taking a chance, but he's not trying to do too much. And he just slaps it the other way. And guess what? 96 on the black. Who gives a crap? Because now that ball is down the line. He's got a double. He's feeling good. So now once you build up that confidence of staying on the ball more and more, this is where you have moments where you see things come together. There's another example, left field, homer. And again, a lot's the opposite field. That's been kind of the emphasis of this conversation so far, right? But how about this? Now when you've established that you feel good and you can stay on every ball, then now when you're feeling froggy, and it's a 3-0 count. We all remember this moment here about, I guess it was the finale in Boston. 3-0 count. First off, it's 3-0 count to get the green light. Team's confident in you. And secondly, to swing at a 3-0 pitch, that means you are really confident in your specific swing. And Cowser now expecting a fastball. He's going to sell out. And because he feels that he has his timing and his mechanics all down, well, guess what? He's going to hit this ball a mile. And he knew it. Everyone knew it. And everyone in Boston wanted to get to him the hell out of Boston because of what he was doing. And now seeing the recent home runs for him, now that he's feeling good, he's letting himself become that complete player that you have seen or what you have heard of down in the minor leagues. Slider here by Peralta. Cowser doesn't try to do too much, stays on the baseball, and we're going to see another home run to right. Again, simple. And this is a night, again, where Peralta was dominating. He really was. He was dominant, but Cowser was feeling good. And this one actually is probably the most impressive to me now. Let me get back. Come on. Come on, Ryan. Heel cinnamon. So he's going to get a pitch way inside. Lefty, tough matchup. I thought Cowser has trouble against lefties, right, Zach? Is that true?
That's what I've heard.
Okay. So right here, Milner's been a very, very tough opponent for left-handed hitters. That's his MO. Funky delivery, funky slot. And despite it only being, 88, you're going to see right inside, it's so hard to pick up because imagine this. When the guy's throwing here, you still see it? Yeah, we're good. The guy's throwing here. It's almost like his shoulder hides and then his arm whips out at the end. So it's really hard to pick up until the last second. So imagine a ball's running in right on your hands, but Cowser, because he is so locked in and comfortable, trusts his hands. And I still don't know how the hell he hit this and hit it so well, but you're going to see him get his hands into it. That's a really good pitch by Milner. I mean, a really good pitch. But when you're that scorching hot, Cowser can hit anything. And this is a big moment that ends up being the final insurance run for the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday to get that win, to get back on track. And a big reason is because of what Colton Cowser is doing. And guess what? You're going to see, Zach, you should have done this earlier. You should have had the cow costume.
I know.
Where is he? There he is. Whoever that is, shout out to you.
I want to shake his hand.
You really do want to shake his hand. The moves are loud in Baltimore, and rightfully so. Colton Cowser is a guy that when you look at him, he's one of those players that you want to root for. He's a likable guy. He's a goofy guy. But above all that, he is one hell of a player, a guy that can do so many things. And there's a reason why the Orioles never wanted to trade this guy. And we broke him down earlier before the season started in spring training and said why we thought he could be an emerging star. Well, now you're seeing the moments at what's happening in Baltimore on the road. Colton Cowser, I'm not expecting him, like I said earlier, to be the guy that's going to be the next great coming of the Hall of Fame baseball player. Who knows how good Colton Cowser can be? But the Colton Cowser that I'm seeing right now is a guy that can be an all-star, that can obviously win the Rookie of the Year, and can be a foundational piece that you should consider for the Baltimore Orioles for a long time. And the best part of this is he finally has that confidence that he knows he is big league ready and he is a big part of this Baltimore Orioles team in 2024. Now, back to Zach.
There it is. And we'll bring Kevin back on the screen as well. Kevin, good to have you back.
Thank you.
Everyone's talking about, actually, I did want to just point this out because I just saw something about it. Colton Cowser coming into this year, Rookie of the Year odds were plus 2,500. The live odds are plus 350.
Did you put a bet down early?
No. That's on me. I know. That's on me. I kept on doubling and tripling down on Gunnar Henderson MVP. That was kind of what I just kept doing.
Not a bad decision.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about just Colton Cowser and just kind of in relation to Jackson Holiday, because we are all seeing Colton Cowser taking over right now. Everyone's saying it, the hottest hitter in the league, 4 home runs in 4 games. It feels like you could throw a ping pong ball 100 miles an hour out there and he would put it out over the fence. But last year, it felt like he couldn't get anything going. It felt like he was the guy that people were like, should he, make the team over Kerstead out of camp because they didn't know, what he was going to do again, if he was going to continue to struggle. It is hard for guys to get up in the major leagues and produce immediately. What does Cowser do? He comes up, he has his struggles, gets sent back down, but he didn't falter. He didn't all of a sudden say, well, I'm not a major league hitter. I struggled. It's over. He just kept grinding, came into spring training with a plan, and he executed it, dominated, and what's he done ever since? He's just picked up where he left off in spring training, and that's the most impressive thing, and that something I want people to remember when they think about Jackson Holiday's early struggles is that Colton Cowser was going through something very similar last year. He got up, had a few hits here and there to begin it, but then was really struggling. And now we are starting to see him get comfortable out there, and he's finally back and showing why the Orioles took him with the 6th pick, 5th pick? Fifth pick. And boom, it's why he's a top prospect. He's a top 20 prospect still in the MLB, and he's proving why right now.
You're darn right. And that's the thing. You talked about with the Orioles rebuilding, right? Or that, they're tanking, everything happens. You have to hit on picks. And for these picks that were going on, people thought Cowser was too high of a pick. That was initially a consensus I remember seeing. Maybe it was just a hair. Now he's still a first-round talent, right? But people said the same thing about Heston Kjerstad. You got to hit on these players. And it's one thing to draft them. It's one thing to develop them. That's also something in your organization that you want to take pride in, but it also takes the player themselves, the person that they draft. And you're looking at these guys. The makeup of these players is extremely impressive. Yeah. You get to talk to them, you get to see them. They are good dudes that have a great work ethic, and that's something that we can look at. You can't overlook that in professional sports. I know it's easy to, Kevin, but like people talk about the NFL draft coming up, red flags, what are you going to do? Like, hey, your work ethic and how you handle yourself and how you conduct yourself goes way more for you having to get through adverse situations. And for a guy like Cowser, hey, look, it was a rough rookie year for him. And it wasn't because he wasn't talented. He was put in a position he's never been in. And that's hard. And now he learned from that. He didn't mope around it. He put his work in, worked his ass off. And now he's feeling on cloud 9. But the one thing I'll preface with, or at least to say, is that never get too high, never try to overthink it right now. Right now, it's just about, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm not going to think twice about it. Remember, Kevin, you're asking about Heston, what adjustments? Sometimes it's great. You want to be, and as hitters, we want to remember, right? You're like, okay, what makes it me work, right? But sometimes you're like, shit, am I putting my hands back too much? Or maybe I got to pick up my leg a little bit more, and then you mess it up. I remember my dad telling stories. If he was feeling good, he didn't even mind saying anything. When I played, if I felt good, I didn't think once about my mechanics. It was like, okay, I had that feeling sensation. I'm going to ride it until I feel like crap again. If that makes sense, Kevin.
It's so cool to also see the progression. You talked about it, Ryan, where like with these young guys, especially with, you talk about Jackson's situation right now, him struggling. And, I'm so happy for him that he was finally able to just get that off of his back. And I think now it's a lot going to be so much easier for him. But to see the progression and the work that a guy like Colton Cowser put in, it is hard, going from, we've had multiple people come on the show and talk about it, Ryan, obviously in your experience as well, kind of moving up in a system. It's an adjustment going to each and every level. And I think what Jackson did in the minors was just so impressive how quickly he was able to kind of race through it all. But once you get to that top level, and again, guests have come on the show and talked about, well, there's always some level of an adjustment. Some players pick up super quickly. Other players, it takes a while, but you never go against the talent. We knew when Adley came up, all the hype, it was going to be real with him. With Gunnar, when he came up, the hype, it was going to be real with him. And it's the same thing with Jackson, just because there's a struggle. Obviously, we've talked about it with players in the past and how they've struggled early and then they've picked it up. For Cowser, again, it was a rough stretch for him last season, but sometimes it just takes the time and the work and just a full off season of working on stuff. And now we're seeing he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. So when you talk about the confidence level in Cowser, when you talk about the worry level in Holiday, I have all the confidence in the world in both of those guys, despite them hitting a bit differently right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're darn right. I am, I don't know where my mind's going sometimes, Kevin. But you're doing a great job.
I was like, you gonna say something?
Yeah. Good shit, Kevin.
Yeah, it is good, Kevin. The thing. Sorry, Kev. You know what I was thinking about? What song?
Were you trying to find a song? I knew you were thinking about the song.
Hey, you know what? I won't lie to you. I mean, no, I would, but I'm not lying to you now.
I do. Isn't there, I know Colton Cowser especially was talked about in spring training, the adjustment with his hands and bringing the bat up, closer to his launch position. And it is so funny that something just so simple as that is hand placement in your stance, being able to make it a smoother transition, smoother path to the baseball. And it's all just about, the work ethic that you talked about. It's that moment of, he wasn't satisfied with how last year ended. Even though he hit the grand slam to kind of give the Tides the AAA championship, a lot of guys could be like, hey, I'm still that guy. I'm going to do it. He understands that, hey, I always can make adjustments, and that's what's going to make him a special player. If you look at every single level that Colton Cowser has played at, two things happen. He gets there and he struggles. And people are like, okay, is he overmatched? And then after about 50, 60 at-bats, 70 at-bats, he takes off. And all of a sudden this guy is the best player at that level, especially on the team. And we're starting to see it. He's hitting that stride of, okay, this is Colton Cowser showing us who Colton Cowser really is.
And Colton Cowser is off to a great start. And this is the evolution, and guys can find it. It's nice when they find it early on in their careers, right? But then you have guys like Ryan O'Hearn, who seems to have found it now after being around for a little bit, right? And now he's come to Baltimore. Mm-hmm. This is what's exciting about with the Orioles. Now, you can hope that all these talented players, even in the minor leagues, are going to turn out to be all-stars. But we talked about it. It's like a lottery. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not because they don't have talent. It's not that. It's just about being able to put it all together at the right time and make the right adjustments. And also then, health is a big thing. We'll talk about tomorrow. Byron Buxton is a guy for the Twins, one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. He was the same draft class coming out of high school in 2012. I didn't sign that year, but coming out of high school, same grade, playing the Under Armour All-American game together. talk about tools. Talk about having everything. There's a reason why the Twins love him, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He hasn't been able to put it all together at one point. So the biggest thing is being able to stay on the field. The second thing is with the opportunities, can you begin to understand? Because if you don't, we see it. People are going, who's next up? And again, that's why I'm saying with veterans, they deserve the benefit because they've proven that they can get out of it.
Yeah.
The young guys, they're unproven. They'll deserve the opportunity at some point, but we just don't know when that opportunity is going to be. And I'm excited. I look, the earlier conversation, by the way, that we had was nothing against any of the young guys. You guys know, I want every single damn player to be in the bigs.
Yeah.
But it's the business side of it. But you also, I hope, can see now, it's the reason why the Orioles, they drafted or they signed Kyle Gibson last year and Adam Frazier. There's a reason why they brought in James McCann. There's a reason why that they want to have these veterans around because, one, they're solid players, but two, there's something that you can't quantify with just young talent along the way. So just all things to keep in mind. All things to keep in mind.
Adam Frazier also is packing, by the way. We figured that out last year.
Yeah,
and he wears a big cup.
Oh, so how do you know, Brad?
We both know.
We don't say we now.
We had a conversation about it.
Well, we saw the cup.
No, we had an entire. I'll pull it up. It's on tape.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We had a whole conversation about it. You literally said the words and read from someone's comment about Adam Frazier having a, quote, hog out of your mouth. Came out of your mouth.
It might be the case.
That was before Rip After Dark.
That's a Rip After Dark moment.
Dark right there.
He's a good kid. This
is what, like, the other night when somebody said that, like, I was the most mature of the group, I just laughed.
That was me. I tried to defend you, and then everyone was like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
And then Brad said, no, I'm not.
Definitely not.
No,
I'm
no
a
chance.
12-year-old maturity level at all times.
Yeah, that was pretty remarkable that someone even thought that you were the most mature. That Kevin actually thought that was.
It was me.
I know
how to keep everybody in line, but that doesn't mean that I'm the most mature of the group.
Yeah. He's the cat herder.
I'm the cat herder, but no.
When it comes to maturity and the jokes, it's definitely not Brad.
So then we're in agreement. I'm the most mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach was really saying it.
Kevin's the 80-year-old man in a whatever 20-something body.
In a 5'6" and 24-25.
He might be. Hey, before we get out of here, why don't we answer one more question about this? Because this is from Dennis. He asked, is it safe to assume that at some point the Orioles will be forced to make a trade because of all this talent coming up? We've talked about this for a while. Just not enough room for everyone.
We talked about it with Tim Kirchin just last week.
Yep. And you know what? We might even have a conversation with the guest we have talking on Tuesday with.
Ooh, spicy.
But to keep that in mind for context, and by the way, that Tuesday, it's a special interview that we're doing. Not going to give anything away, but as Brad alluded to earlier, for the members, you'll be able to see it first. We'll put it out there, but it should be fun, and it's definitely someone that Oriole fans would like to hear from. But as far as this is the situation here, the Orioles just aren't in any rush to make any move right now. They're still winning baseball games, despite how people might have felt this past last week or last weekend. The sky's not falling. The Orioles just came off a sweep of the Red Sox. But I do understand you're going to have to get to a point later in the season of where you're at. We got to figure out where John Means is going to be, him coming back. What's it mean for Kyle Bradish then? Then when you're looking at your bullpen, who's healthy, who's doing well, and then offensively, then you can see, okay, well, who's going to be up there in the situations? Is it going to be an injury or is it going to be an opportunity that's been forced? Therefore, then the Orioles make a move. So it's all those little things to consider. And then for some of these prospects that we talked about, Jackson's up here now because he's going to play the majority of the days.
Yeah.
For some of these other guys coming up, like I don't want to see a Kobe Mayo come up and not play or Heston Kjerstad, but that's going to be what they're going to be asked to do right now.
I know. Like if you bring up Kobe, what do you do? Sit Westberg right now? No.
Yeah.
And then if you don't sit Westberg, where are you putting Kobe Mayo at?
Yeah.
Outfield, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, you can put Kobe Mayo up first. Okay, are you sitting O'Hearn or Mountcastle? It's a great problem to have, and it's why I'm happy I'm not the one making the decisions because, one, you have people question every decision you make, no matter how well it turns out and how well your track record is. But It is. It's gotten to the point where it is like you just said. You bring up a guy like Kobe Mayo, who would be probably on the roster of any other major league team,
right?
But where do you put him? You know, what goes on? Where do you sit Westberg? Do you try to put Westberg in, corner outfield? Are you now DHing Kobe Mayo and giving up on his field? So much.
Well, there's one of the things that we talked about last week and with Tim Kirchin, and that was that it's a long season. God forbid somebody gets injured, but it's an inevitable thing. And so, something like that happens, then you have a Kobe Mayo, Kerstad, somebody else that can come up and fill a void that potentially or inevitably happens.
And that again, exactly. That's the exact point of all this. So when you look at guys with the team and how it's constructed, and like Jordan Westbrook's a guy, he's not just another guy on the team, guys.
Right.
Like we talked about, Jordan Westbrook could very well lead the Orioles in home runs. The crazy thing is we could list off 7 guys that could lead the Orioles in home runs.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier last night.
Last night we named like 3 guys and then we're like, well, or 4 people. You named 4 and then I named another 3 or 4. So if we went through that list real quickly, this will be a fun exercise. Let's go from the top. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. Okay. Santander.
Yeah,
yep.
Santander.
Ryan O'Hearn. Well, if he might not, just if he's not hitting against lefties all the time, but still good.
Yeah.
Ryan Mountcastle. Okay. Cedric Mullins. He's already got 4 now, right?
Yep.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
No, Cedric has
3
because Cowser was the first to 4.
My bad. So, talk about that guy. Cowser's got 4 right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Westberg's got 3 right now. So when you're looking at this, Westberg's got 3. You're right, because Cowser's the first to 4. So you're looking at that number and you're going, dang, it's pretty dang good. There's a lot of good hitters on this team. And that's the problem. That's the great problem that the Orioles have. And so I know, and it stinks. Like I do feel for the guys down in Folktown, by the way. I really do. And I don't even want to look at the comments. We're not. It's guys. It is Sunday.
Roll right now.
It is Sunday.
I don't even know what's happening in the comments at the moment.
It's Sunday, Kevin. Okay. It is.
I don't know what you want me to say.
We're not going to say anything, but if you guys, this is why you need to be on the live streams with us, because you could see what has transpired here. Good. Holy shirts and pants. Oh, goodness. And speaking of the Holy Shirts and Pants membership, that is one of the memberships on the channel. If you join that, we'd love that. It supports us so we can continue to make the content that we hope that you guys are enjoying if you're tuning in, and you'll have some more exclusive access to what we do, and even to be able to feel more entrenched in what we're continuing to build. So keep that in mind as you are listening through, and go check out our other videos. We've done a lot of breakdowns too. We've talked about these players. We've talked about the other opponents. There's also a streak, guys, I have right now, I guess, of whatever player I talk about on the other team for Know Your Foe ends up doing well. So Joey Ortiz,
also Orioles guys too.
And Oriole guys too. But also the guys that I broke down before spring training, Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, Cedric Mullins. Yes, we broke down Jackson, and again, he's 14 at bats into his career, 15 at bats.
15.
Yeah.
I was headed somewhere with that. I don't remember. Sorry. Oh yeah. So the channel memberships. I just wanted to remind everybody, in order to join, you can click that join button next to subscribe. This is the only part that you left out, Ryan. I want to make sure that people knew how to actually join the channel membership. So make sure you go ahead and hit that join button next to subscribe. Get access to all kinds of exclusive stuff that we can give you behind the scenes, that sort of thing. And again, just as a reminder, we will be having a special guest interview this week, and our channel members will get to see that first.
That's right. That's right. We'll get to see it first. And last thing, Tom, I see it. I understand with the Urias, but it goes to my point that we just talked about, though, that Ramon's not going to be an everyday guy anymore. And he wasn't beforehand. He was always going to be a utility guy.
Yeah.
Do you want to sacrifice that for Kobe Mayo right now? Because when Kobe Mayo comes up, if it's an injury or whatever it may be, or if he just breaks through, I want Kobe Mayo to play every day. And that's the one thing. Do you think it's worth it at this point in April, on April 14th, when we're talking about this? Do we want to be able to have that negatively impact Cody's development? You know what's, you guys, everyone's bringing up Brenda. Brenda's made an absolute trend.
She is someone special.
Oh,
Well, she got banned, apparently, you said, right?
She did. She got banned on X.
Yeah.
Broke my heart. So
That's brutal.
so this season, This for me,
It's for Brenda.
doing it for Brenda.
Doing it for Brenda.
Well, there's just gonna have to be a new one. It could be a new one every
No,
day.
no. I've seen Holly put some stuff in there. And Holly, I don't want to look at your profile. It just doesn't feel the same way. You know, it's funny that hey, we got a new member. Yeah.
Nick Loafer.
Nick Loafer Pants.
Somebody's gonna have a name that we're gonna have to say, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Hashtag
Free Brenda.
free Brenda.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I think I sent that tweet out of was using my dad as a meme was
Mhm.
when it's Friday night and baseball's buzzing and Brenda keeps sending. And people are like, whoa.
I forgot about that. That was
Well,
hilarious.
people were like, whoa, do you want to see middle? I found I was going through trying to find some stuff for the show that we're going to keep bringing in. That's when I found the 1/1 Ryan Ripken number 99 spring training jersey. Have that. Found the 35 Delmarva Shorebirds. I wore it before Adley, just throwing that out there. And then why?
Oh no.
Because that's going to be another one that's already it's already popping off on your Twitter. Actually,
Oh,
I put
goodness.
that on your Twitter.
Jason, I'm sorry.
I'm not Jason. That was incredible. This is going to be a meme that lives on for the entire season. This is about as big as Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You know what, though? I was surprised. The last thing I guess we'll close out. The brawl, the scuffle happened.
Yeah.
So good.
And maybe we can talk about that tomorrow.
We will
too,
talk
and more
about that.
and more in
Because I have so
depth.
many questions.
So many questions and maybe so many not answers. But and maybe we all go to a game this week at the Yard. Who knows? Maybe you'll see us around there. Guys, any other final thoughts? Conclusions?
Thanks for watching.
Oh no, Mom, Kelly.
Oh. That face is priceless.
So
That
good.
is. Yep, and people have had a field day with that one as well. So I might be a meme for the rest of the season. But Mom, we'll have to have you on for a different special, but you can't share those stories. We were going through some photo albums, and that's where we found some really hot pics of Rye as a kid.
Oh, geez.
Hell yeah.
But also you'd be like, that's you, Ryan, like holy shirts and pants. That's brutal. That's what you look like. That we did find a photo of me peeing in the Great Barrier Reef. Like,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It was
That's dope.
caught in the act.
Legendary.
Yeah.
that
I
is
did it.
him.
I did it. Am
That'd
I
be-
proud of it? Yes. So, oh gosh. And Jason.
Listen, I'm not abusing the meme. Cowser's abusing the meme.
Cowser's abusing the baseball right now.
He hit another. Listen, it's not coincidence that ever since that video came out, Cowser's just been hitting jacks.
You know, you make a great point.
That's what I'm saying. Every time he hits a jack, that's coming out.
Okay.
Oh,
40 year incoming for Cowser.
Oh goodness. All right. I think we got to get out of here. We will have Kelly on the show at some point. Maybe she will be a part of more of what we do. And we're gonna have more things building. We're gonna get Nick Moore back. He's been off doing
Yeah, where
his
the hell
thing.
is that guy?
Yeah,
Is he at the Masters right now?
he might be now.
I think he's at the Masters. I think I saw a picture of him there.
He's the most interesting man in the world right now.
He really is.
He's like, I want to get back in studio. And then like, oh, I'm at the Masters.
Okay, well,
I love that guy.
No, he's a good kid. All right, guys. On that note, should we get ready to get out of here? But actually, before we get out of here, let's add the final segment in for Kevin. This is our moment for Kevin. For everyone, join me as instead of singing a song, I read it poem style. Let me put my poems in you.
can't even give me the tune as a hint. You got to read it.
Yes. And we can call this "Let Me Put My Poems in You."
oh Jesus.
I don't know about that. We'll
Yeah.
work on that.
Are you ready, Kevin?
As ready as I'll ever be. Let's go.
My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Kevin!
that
Yeah, let's go.
Jesus.
Kevin!
I can't believe it took you that long.
I know.
I need
That
the
is-
dramatic buildup.
Yeah, I gotta work. I'll work more on the poems, but that'll be fun. We'll make them harder. I was glad you got that one, but this has been a lot of fun. And guys, maybe if you want, you can send me some song requests in the future, and we can see if Kevin can learn how to read my
I
poems.
think I'm 3-0. Outside of the push it real good, I think I'm 3-0.
Yeah. See, a lot of people love that there, Kevin. A lot of people loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Miss Kelly is encouraging.
All
me,
right, so
and
I'm
not
keeping
sure how I
track.
feel
I'm
about it.
3-0. We'll see.
Well, Kevin, or my mom will encourage other songs that we'll have to to put a censor on her. And Victoria. No, well, Victoria, you're right. It's Britney. It's Britney, bitch.
I do know some Britney songs, every single word.
Do you really?
Why am I not surprised?
All right. Well, that will be for a different time. Can you imagine? Oh, we're gonna get some Britney.
Kevin karaoke.
Oh God, no! Jesus Christ! Listen, the show was like on a great trajectory. We're about to just crater it into the ground.
Throw everything out. It's just Kevin karaoke.
Yeah,
that's all we do.
Jesus
Kevin,
Christ.
you were 3 for 4. You didn't get it right. Get it tight. Get it right.
Well, no, I'm saying outside of the push it real good. I'm 3-0.
Well, that's not. That's
no, but at the end of show karaoke.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Okay, all right, Kevin, it's 3 for 3. Do you want me to make it more challenging for you?
I'm game for whatever. I will say Jason wins the title. This is what it's called. It's Kevin Oki.
Kevin Oki. Oh. All right, guys, let's get on out of here. We got some good kids and we have a great community. And before we head on out of here, hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel and hit that follow button on X if you're tuning in from there. You got @Own the Chaos for Brad. You have @Zach Bollinger 18, who's probably sending out a tweet at the moment. You got @Chaos Striker 34, Locked On Kevin on X as well. And then you have me. I'm @Ryan Ripken on X and on Instagram. You have thoughts, concerns, or just want to be able to tell me what's going on, reach out to me and the rest of the group there. We want to see how you're doing, how you're feeling. Guys, cue the music.
There's 100 of you watching. Go the hell home. Get off here. Get a life.
No, stay with us.
But smash that like button before you do.
Yep. Hey, we love you all. As always, we appreciate your support. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We will be back tomorrow for another episode of the Ryan Ripken Show. As always, have a day, have a night, and we will talk soon.
God damn it, Kevin. Fuck you, Kevin.
Kevin, that is aggressive.